All right, let's talk about some of the implications for the Jamal Adams contract. If you don't know, he signed a 4-year, $70 million deal that peaks at $72 million. So that's either $17.5 million to $18 million per year, basically the same level as Bobby Wagner. What are some of the implications of this? Well, for starters, it's huge for safeties. The record before that was almost $2 million per year shorter than what Jamal Adams is getting right now. It was Justin Simmons who set the record back in March with Denver. Now we're looking at guys who are coming out next year as free agents. That's Marcus Williams, Marcus May, Harrison Smith, I think Jessie Bates as well, and there's another one. Who is it? I said Marcus Williams, Marcus May, Jessie Bates, Harrison Smith, Tyra Matthew. Those are the 5 established safeties that are going to be free agents next year. And these guys have all been all pros in the past or at some point in their careers, except for Marcus May and Marcus Williams, but those two are generally still regarded as top 10 safeties in the league. And even if you're not on the same level as a top 2 or 3 safety in the league, you're still going to ask to be paid like one, especially with the salary cap going in the right direction again. Who else could also get paid in this deal? Well, Durham James, who by the way has to prove he's healthy before you get that extension, but he's entering the final year, the second to last year, I think, of his rookie deal. But he's going to be up for extensions then. The Chargers can sign Durham James to an extension if they want to. Same with Minkah Fitzpatrick in Pittsburgh. He's at a point where he could sign an extension with the Steelers. So we'll see how that all plays out right now. But you got Minkah, who was a back-to-back first-team All-Pro. You got Derwin James, who's the best safety in the NFL when healthy. You got Jessie Bates, who's the best safety in the NFL this past year. And you've got Tyrann Mathieu, who's also back-to-back first-team All-Pro. Those guys are all potential. All those guys different. Minkah and Derwin are hitting the market next year, and then Minkah and Derwin are going to be asking for those extensions. You better bet they are going to. And of course, Harrison Smith as well, one of the best safeties from this past decade. Marcus May, Marcus Williams, still very good safeties in their own rights. They're all hitting the market, and they're all going to get at least probably, I would say, $13 million or more a year. Harrison Smith is likely going to be the lowest earning one of those guys because he's the oldest and potentially trending in the wrong direction. Hopefully he bounces back this past year. 2020 was not his best season, but I think that he'll get back to his 2019 form this year, hopefully. So Smith will probably get the least amount of money in that group, probably still get over $10 million a year. But the other guys who are still in their late 20s to mid-20s, I think it'll be a great year for them. I think they're going to be making a lot more money than you'd expect to. Justin Simmons had set the record back in March, like I said, around just over $15 million a year. There are going to be a couple of guys who are going to break that eventually. In the next 2 years, Jessie Bates is probably going to break that. Minkah Fitzpatrick's probably going to break that. I don't know if Tyrann Mathieu will because he's getting up there in age, but that's a possibility. Someone might give Marcus Williams that deal. Marcus May could probably definitely ask for that deal. And if Durham James is healthy this year and plays to his full potential, Durham James most certainly will break that contract. So we'll see. A lot of safeties now get over that $17 million mark. For the Seattle Seahawks, Duane Brown. This is the last guy who needs a contract right now for Seattle. It's Duane Brown. You've already dealt with getting Russell Wilson happy. You've already given an extension to Jamal Adams, which frees up your time now to focus on getting Duane Brown an extension. Now, Brown is 36 or 37 years old. He's getting up there. But he's still one of probably the 10 best left tackles in the NFL, if not one of the 10 best overall tackles in the NFL. If you go based off PFF grading, he's been elite or borderline elite the past couple of years, where he's finished in the top 10 multiple times. He's been the best offensive lineman Russell Wilson has ever played with, including better than Max Unger. So you got to respect the fact that if you're Russell Wilson, you just went through this whole phase, this whole saga of trying to make sure he's happy and wants to stay in Seattle and not ask for a trade. Well, you can make him happy by re-signing his left tackle, who, by the way, is head and shoulders better than anyone else on that offensive line. It's not even close. Not even close. If you let Duane Brown walk right now, it'll be an epic fail on the part of Seattle because he is a free agent going into next year, I believe. So next offseason, he'll hit the market. Duane Brown, getting up there into his late 30s, I understand you're probably worried about him hitting that older wall that you've seen guys like Jason Peters hit in the past. But even guys like Andrew Whitworth. Andrew Whitworth has missed time. Whitworth has missed time with injuries the past couple of years. But when he's on the field, he's still a highly effective tackle. When Andrew Whitworth is playing football, he's still a top 12, top 15 tackle in the NFL. He's still very good. And Duane Brown hypothetically could be one of those guys that follows that path, that follows that career arc, and is still good into his late 30s, early 40s. If you're Seattle, do you want to take that chance? I don't really know. But a 2-year extension is not a lot to ask for. 2 years sounds like a good amount of time Duane Brown right now has probably been underpaid the past couple of years of his career. It depends on how much he's asking for. If he wants to be paid in return for that amount of time that he was underpaid, well, then you're getting in a little bit of a sketchy situation where you might not want to make that deal. But if he's asking for, I don't know, 14, 15 million a year for 2 years, it's not the worst contract you could sign. And you certainly could do worse than Duane Brown in your offensive line. We've seen them do worse than Duane Brown in the offensive line in Seattle there for the past couple of years. And even before Duane Brown arrived, they were not very good. Talk about Jermaine Ifedi. So, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, this frees up some time to focus on Duane Brown. Now, you now know what the cap situation is going to look like more going forward with the Jamal Adams contract on the books. I think they were right to prioritize Jamal Adams, by the way, because they had already sunk so much draft capital into trading for him. You basically had to sign Jamal Adams. But now you get to focus on re-signing Duane Brown, which is a move I think you do have to make. Because you didn't trade a lot for him when you got him from Houston. He's been there a couple of years already. But again, the best offensive lineman Russell Wilson has ever played with. You take him away, what is left on this offensive line? You've got some young players up front who are really good run blockers, but I mean, realistically, it's not going to be a great offensive line when it comes to pass blocking. Duane Brown, he's very good at pass blocking. Keep him around. You know, it helps out. Russell Wilson's getting up there. He can't run away from things forever. He's already shown that he's not as nimble as he was in the past. We're not as prone to running and escaping and extending plays as he was in the past. So, just my thoughts. Duane Brown extension should get done. Other safeties in the NFL are top safeties. Prepare to get paid next summer. Overall, looking like a pretty good situation for everyone involved.